What's up YouTube, and welcome back. For anybody that hasn't joined us yet, my name's Ozzy and this is Ozzy's Garage. So as you guys saw from the title, we're going to be working on the Cummins again. We have the Fass fuel system we're going to be installing. The ECM is going to be sent out to get it fixed up because it has a little bit of a wait to start light lag. It takes about 10 seconds for it to come on, the wait to start light to come on before I can actually crank it. So hopefully that gets taken care of. And then while we're in there doing the Fass stuff, we're going to take out the stock fuel system. So other than that, thank you guys for joining us. Please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. But that's enough of that. Let's jump straight into the action. Here. But anyway, so what I was saying is we're going to be taking this guy off real quick. Start by emptying it. And then once we're done with that, we're going to disconnect the two lines that are on here. These two lines I believe are 18 mil. And then finally, to get it off the block, we're going to take off these two 10 mils. Of course, before we're going to start anything, I'm going to disconnect both batteries. As you guys see, I got the upgraded terminal wire kit. Went ahead and put that in myself as well. But you know, we're going to go ahead and jump straight to it. Once again, guys, I'm not a mechanic. I mean, my dad was a 40-year mechanic for Chevy, but this whole thing is all new to me. So, I mean, don't get intimidated when you're trying to jump into these projects. You know, just get as much knowledge as you can, talk to the guys that have done it, and I mean, if you got your common sense and you know what you're doing under there, fucking send it. So make a mess. I'll set this right here. Alright guys, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna disconnect this wire harness. What we're going after is this guy right here. I'm gonna disconnect this wire harness because that will free up that bolt on the bottom. I'm pretty sure all of these are 10 mils, all three. There's one here, there's one on that side, and there's one right there. So we got those three, and then we'll go from there. But getting real close. So what we're using is a 4mm Allen, and that's to get this thing off. It wasn't very tight. Alright, so that's off. Alright, now that's off. We can move this out the way. Slide it down a little bit, and now we're freed up to start getting these 10mm bolts off. So let's do it. Alright guys, so we got it out, as you guys just saw. Wasn't too bad at all. If your truck is a little warm, definitely watch out. My truck's not hot, but it was warm, so it was a little rough. But as you guys saw, we'll just recap. There's a 4mm bolt, or 4mm Allen I should say, that goes right in the middle that holds that in, and then you have the three 10mm that go around the outside, and then she slides right out. And so I mean, I definitely recommend taking out that fuel filter housing. I mean, even if you're not going to replace it, just taking it out makes it 10 times easier on the whole replacement of this ECM part. But now what we're going to do is we're going to run up to the UPS store. We're going to toss that in a box with a whole bunch of bubble wrap and have it overnighted out to the guys out at the auto computer specialists. And I mean, I'll put a tag in their stuff below, but we'll go ahead and we'll catch you once we get the parts back. Alright guys, so as you see, we went ahead and got ourselves the Fass kit. Haven't even opened it or anything yet, so we're going to do it all on camera with you guys. So hopefully it'll be good. It's pretty hot outside, and these GoPros have been having issues with overheating, so we'll see what we can do, how long this will work for us. But anyways, this is the Fass 100 kit. As you see, it comes with everything pretty laid out for you. All the new hose, wiring, all nice and looking nice and neat with the wire cover and everything. All our little fittings, and our little return right here. We're gonna have to start using some of this stuff to put right onto the actual filter setup down here. Let's see, I think that's next. Yeah. As you guys can see, I mean, it is packaged very well. So, I mean, look how thick that is. There she is in the glory. So, I mean, super pumped. Waited a long time to pull the trigger on something like this. So, to be here and about to put it on. I mean, it is time to be beyond excited. And it looks like underneath here is where we got the rest of these for the mounting, which I guess it goes straight to one of the little bed bolts now, instead of having to actually drill a hole. So enough of that. We're gonna go ahead. All right, so now that we got everything laid out across the table, I was just sitting here just going through all the parts on the list, making sure we had absolutely everything here, which it looks like we do. So as the video goes on today, I'm just going to be pretty much going by this book, or the online book that they have here, the installation guide, and we'll just be going step by step and just knocking this thing out. So first things first is right here is we're going to start getting this this guy all set up with some dielectric grease and put it all together and get it ready to go. So let's do it. Alright guys, so I got a little ahead of myself. I went ahead and connected this to the wiring, and then after realizing that there was no real fuse that we could really connect to in there, so I ended up having to route the wire into this fuse box so we can use these ones. And we're just going to use the one that's labeled ignition right there, ignition. Let's see, it won't really be right there in the corner. This one we're going to use, and we sent it through the firewall right there. And so we're just pulling just the wire through, so this is all our extra. We'll end up cutting this off once we get to where we want to be, but they give you plenty of wire. I'm going to zip tie this right here, and then once we get the wire, we want to leave a little loop in case it gets water on it. It'll drain out. It won't go up into the firewall. It'll just be on there. But once we get it through the firewall, I'll put this back on it. We'll get this hooked up. We'll get the two terminals wired in with the red and the green right here. We'll get those wired into their corresponding terminals, and then we'll just start running everything back. So let's just keep it rolling. And you're always going to want to make sure that this is in a vertical up and down position at the end of the day. So when you're sitting here doing all this, just make sure when you're done, it's going to want to sit something like that. Eventually I'll probably, you know, get it mounted right there, but this definitely works for now. Didn't even think about it having to fit my aftermarket kit, having to fit through that hole, but look at that, it fits perfect. So if any of y'all got the big wire kits as you see I have, this little setup will work perfectly with it. And I personally don't like that. Alright, so now that we got that done, we'll go ahead and I'm going to pull this the rest of the way through. Boom. Here we go. Pull you guys, kind of show you how good that looks. That's it right there. This one right there. It's right up into the firewall. So, and then close up on this one. Goes under here. As you guys saw, I took this out. Pops up right here. I might take this battery box out, but for right now we're gonna leave it in. And then it comes around and connects green, connects red, and so now all we got to do is this guy right here is the harness, which we're gonna just follow the harness that's already in there. So for the harness here, what we're gonna do is this is one of the little protectors that came for one of the pieces in the box, one of the 90-degree elbows. I'm going to put that over it, throw some tape on it, boom. You know that it won't get dirt and stuff in there while we're shoving it down through there. So now that's the next step. Let's get it into the firewall. Alright, not the firewall, sorry guys. Get it routed down to underneath the truck. Don't want to be around anything. I'll just keep feeding her down. So get it all the way down there. I got it sit here on the floor down here. Alright guys, so as you can see we got the harness coming down right here, and then it turns, cuts over this little cab mount, and then it just kind of runs the length of the cab right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing all the way down. If anything, we could zip tie straight to this, so let's get to it. So I got to the end here and it was really long still, and we're gonna be mounting literally right here. So what I did is on this first cab mount up in the front, I just kind of wound it up, put a couple zip ties on it, and shoved it up underneath that mount. So we should be good to go with them sitting like that. That way it's kind of tucked up and out of the way with all the excess. And we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna leave, oh my bad, we're gonna leave a little excess for when we go to cut. But boom. Alright, so let's go get a fuse. Alright, so then we're going to plug this closest to the wire, the little fuse that they provide. There we go, make sure it's flush all the way down. And then now we just gotta find the 10 amp that we're gonna be pulling out of there. Alright, so then we're gonna put the 10 amp that we pulled out, and like I said, we're using the one that says ignition on it. And that's what it says in the book, so that's what we're going with. So now we're gonna put that back, push this back down, and then just gonna get this put back into place. All wrapped up. We got it put in that top corner that says ignition, and got it all wired up properly, so looking good. All right guys, so finally got the vise set up. So we're going to be installing these two pieces onto the vise. As you see, they come already set up with the tape already on the threads. We're going to start on this back one.
Not too sure how many times we're supposed to spin this thing around. Try one more, I guess. Actually, no, I think that's... We're gonna stop right there. We'll do the same thing on the front.
Alright, next step is we're going to go ahead and start installing this guy here. Alright guys, so we're going to be using the 3/4 inch bolts and the 3 spacers that they provide. So we'll just go ahead and set these guys down. And then, let's see, let's start with this top one. Alright, so what they say we need to do is we need to bolt this up underneath the bed just lightly, and then bring this up in there and kind of get an idea where we want to sit it against it. But what I think I'm going to do with it is I'm going to call it right around here, and then from here I'm going to put just 2 bolts into it, go out there, pick it up underneath the truck, and then see how it's going to fit if I was to put this on there. And if it looks good, we'll keep it. I'll put the other 2 bolts in, we'll tighten everything down. If it doesn't, then I'll make my adjustments this way, or up and down, and then we'll from there be able to move on to the next step. So I'm just gonna throw two bolts in here, and we'll go out there and check it out. Alright guys, so what we're gonna be trying to do here is that outside line that's a little bit bigger, the one that's closer to the screen here. We're going to be trying to disconnect that. Now, unlike most that I've seen, this does not look like it has a quick connect on here. It looks like it's just held on by hose clamps. So I'm just going to try to get my Milwaukee up in there and see if we can get it loose. So wish me luck. Alright guys, so we went ahead, we got that all disconnected, and we got the hose coming off the top all disconnected. So we're about to start putting things back together. So we're about to install this and put that back in there. I'm going to use the clamp that was originally on there. I'm just going to bring that up and to use it right here at the end, and then I'll use the 2 new ones for hold that piece on. So we're getting there step at a time, but what we used to get that off and cut it was this guy right here. We cut it off, and then once I got it off, I just cut a little extra off. And I mean, I could probably cut another little bit off, but I'd rather be safer than sorry on this. So let's keep it rolling. Alright guys, so just like that, we got that adapter in line. Let's flip around to the other side so we can see it. Just like that. I mean, looking fantastic. So next thing we got to do is get the line on top of the tank installed. And once we get that installed, it'll just be pretty much just start running the lines and be good to go. So let's get this thing wrapped up. So what I did So next step is we're going to take this bolt out right here, which is the front driver's side bolt for the bed. And what I did is a couple days ago I sprayed it down WD-40 to help start breaking it down. Alright guys, well this is it. We're going to try to install this thing real quick. Doesn't look like it's going to be easy. This thing is not light. There you go, guys. So we got it in the truck. So now all we really got to do now is just tighten this bolt, and then we're going to start running the line. So it looks like it's starting to rain, so we'll just call this good for tonight, and we're going to pick up right where we left off tomorrow. Alright, so next step, we're going to go ahead and attach the blue hose that we got the new fuel line. We're going to attach it on here, give it a gentle curve to attach onto here, and then we'll be moving on to the hose that's actually on the top of the tank. So it's not really a good angle for me to leave this, but we'll see if I can find a good spot for you guys. You want to make a gentle curve. Alright, so we went ahead and as you can see here, we put a little mark on it. And so we're going to just cut this little section. We're going to use the same knife that I used on the filler neck. I'm just going to cut right on the outside of this line. Give us a little bit more than we should need. Alright, so we just made a little mark. I used the same box cutters last time, and I just gave it a little cut. It's not like the most perfectly straight, but it's definitely straight enough that it's going to work for what we need it to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the next section. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and add this fitting onto it. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to the edge here before I go to put it in there, and then we'll go from there.
Alright, so we give it that. She's all the way seated, just like that.
Perfect. Well, let's go install. Well, so we're not going to be able to fully install this just yet, but what we'll do is I'll just get this hooked up, maybe lightly get this screwed on, and then once we get the ECU back from the shop, which should be tomorrow, we'll have to prime the pump. Most of you will be able to do that right before you do this. You just want to shoot some WD-40 up into the hole that's pretty sure for the water separator. Shoot it up in there with the key bumped, and you'll hear the motor going. Just kind of lube it up, you know, before you start installing everything. But like I said, let's just throw this on real quick, and we'll be on to the next hose. Always make sure you clean out the hose, like just blow it out. But we're about to just go ahead and install this guy. I'm gonna toss it up and over. And just get that started like that. We're gonna pull this cap off and we'll just move it up to the top for now. Start this. There's that. Let's bring the little, this guy all the way to the end. There we go. Now we're just gonna tighten up this guy right here, and we'll be good to go. On to the next hose. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get this guy shoved into here. We're gonna make sure that's on there. We're gonna get this guy shoved down into here. And once we get this all the way seated, we will hose clamp it down, get up under the truck and install it, and then once we get the length we need, I'll just cut it right up underneath the truck, because I am not climbing up under there more than once. I'll tell you that right now. Here we go. So we got that one seated all the way. I'm gonna wipe off the face right here real quick, and then just start kind of figuring out how it's gonna go in there. So on to the next step. All right, we're gonna put this fitting on. That's gonna go to the pump, and then it's gonna run all the way up to the VP. So we're on the countdown of being done, boys and girls, or ladies and gentlemen. We're getting to the end of this, so let's get this out there. All right, guys. So what we went ahead and did, as you saw, went ahead and added this onto the end, and then on the other side, I put a baggie over it and taped it to it. That way, when we're feeding it through the sections of the frame and stuff, and up towards the VP44, we won't be getting a whole bunch of stuff up into the opening of our fuel line. Definitely don't want that. So, next step, I'm gonna reach up in here and get this guy plumbed in. Now what's really left is to trim the hose and install that last fitting. So let's figure this thing out. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and try to disconnect the line from the VP. Just like that. Now we're gonna grab that other fitting and we're gonna screw that right into that spot. There's a little washer on here, so you gotta be very careful. I have a 13/16 socket that I'm gonna use to help me get it on there. Let's put it on the ratchet here. See if we can get it down in there. We don't want it too tight.
Spot here.
Alright, so we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do some what's it called, zip tying to get this hose exactly where we want it, but it's gonna be coming straight through here, heading straight down, and then as you guys saw underneath, we have it going over the frame right about here, and then it comes back, feeds right into the pump, which is right there. So we're gonna be going over everything, just double checking everything, but I'm pretty happy with how we have it set up so far. Once again, we're still waiting on the computer. It should be here tomorrow, and then we'll be able to bump the fuel, prime the pump, you know, get everything set up, and actually maybe get this truck started tomorrow. So it's been a long journey, but it's we're at the end of it, so I'm happy that I'm happy how it's coming out so far. But enough of the chit chat, let's keep rolling. All right, so next thing we're going to want to do here is I'm actually going to disconnect and take off this factory, well, it's not a factory as you guys can tell, but this lift pump that we have on the block. And then once we get the actual pump off, there's 2 bolts holding this bracket on, and then I actually went ahead and bought something to delete that bracket. Wasn't sure if it was necessary or not, but it was just a little block off plate. So once we get that thing off, we'll be able to toss this on there and we'll be deleting that stock fuel system that's on it. I want to try to delete the lines as well, so let's just keep rolling. Alright guys, so the first 3 screws are 7/16 for this one. Might be a little different for your truck, but for this filter right here it was 3 7/16. Dropped it. Now I just got to get it pulled down, and I'm going to disconnect it from the old fuel line. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright guys, so we just got this back. We put this little scan code on it with the name of the company, and so we're gonna go ahead and reinstall it. We got the 3 bolts right here, so we're gonna toss these in, and then we got the Allen head so we can install the harness, and then we're gonna be able to start priming stuff. So heck yeah, let's keep rolling. All right, so we just reconnected the batteries after we went ahead and reinstalled the computer. So last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my WD-40, and we're going to prime the system real quick. So I'm gonna plug this in. Let's see here, see if you guys can see it. So we're gonna plug it in, which we have the cord right there ready to go, and then we're gonna also spray up in here with the WD-40. Once it starts turning, we're gonna spray a little bit more in there to really let it lube. And then once we got that system set up, we'll be able to get the filters all oiled up on the rings. Put the 1 ring right here, and then once we're done with that, we'll be able to slide everything up on here, tighten the filters down, and at that point all that's going to be left is to start bleeding the system. So let's do it. All right, so start with a little bit of dielectric grease in here. So I guess I'm going to start by just go like that. Now let's go turn the key, and then we'll come back and hit it one more time. Well, if you ask me, it sounded like it was working. So all right guys, so now that we got that all well, lubricated I should say, we're gonna go ahead and start with this. So this one right here with the rubber little grommet, or the little rubber washer, that right there is gonna go on the hole that we just sprayed the WD-40 into, and then the one without it is gonna be the front one that has the long draw straw coming down off of it. Only thing we're gonna really do different here is we're gonna pull the ring off of this guy right here. Oh, don't want to drop it. We're gonna pull this off of this ring. I have a little bit of oil. I'm just gonna put a little bit on here just to kind of lube it up, and then we're gonna slide this right on there, which I'll show you sliding it on there. And then the only things you probably won't see me on the camera is I'm also gonna put my finger in the oil and come around here and just put a little lip right on the edge, just to, you know, just to keep it looking good. We don't want to put them on there dry. So that's the next step, so let's keep it rolling. All right, so I went ahead and oiled this up. We're gonna just get back down under here, and this guy is gonna get installed right here. Just push it all the way to the bottom. Boom, just like that. So now there we go. And then when I'm all done, I'll come back and I'll wipe all this down. Same thing. Little bit of oil. Never hurt these diesel engines. And hop right back up under there and install it. Sorry about that. There we go. All right, guys, so before I try that system that I was telling you where I'm going to disconnect it from the VP, I'm just going to try what they said. I'm about to turn the key on to have the fast kick on. As soon as the fast kicks on, we're going to come down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this back one. I'm just going to loosen it to where it'll just give it to where you'll hear the sound. As soon as you hear the tone change, you're going to tighten this back up and the system should finish priming. So that's going to be step one, and we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. So I'll just do it in one shot here in the video. So if it doesn't look pretty, you guys know why. Actually, I'll just set you guys down. All right. There we go. Now we just let it sit for 15 seconds and we're gonna give it a chance to start. So let's see what we got. All right, guys, wish me luck. Not bad. Not bad. All right, guys, so it's been about a month since we took all those videos. Got the work truck here, the Cummins. It's been doing fantastic. I'm gonna give you guys a little example, but the fuel pump's been doing amazing. We've had no issues with any of that. ECM performing great. There's no lag when I go to turn the key for the weight to start, which that's what I'm gonna show you here today. But other than that, like, it's been doing fantastic. We haven't had any leaks or anything, so I would just definitely recommend it. And I've definitely noticed an expansion on my fuel mileage. Let's see here. All right, you guys, get you in here. So I'll turn the key and just watch how fast this thing's ready to go. Boom. I mean, that's insane. It would take 10 seconds before we even, and it just cranks right up. I mean, it's insane. I'd pay any money for the truck to do that for the last 3 years I've owned it, but now that we're at this point, super happy with it. She runs fantastic. When I'm on the highway, I go between like 80, 85, and the truck's never happier. Like, when it's out there doing that, it runs fantastic. And I mean, I probably ran, I'd say this is my third or fourth tank of gas or diesel, and I think I was a little under a quarter tank on one of them, and I didn't have any issues, so definitely happy there. I definitely try to keep it over a half tank just to, you know, be safe. But I mean, I haven't ran into anything, so it's been, like I said, it's been a couple of weeks. I mean, maybe even a month. So definitely recommend everything we did. Definitely recommend the computer, guys. Definitely recommend the Fass. So if this is something that you guys are like on the fence about doing, I definitely recommend it 100%. So once again, thank you guys for joining us. And please like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel immensely. I just checked it out, and I mean, these Cummins videos are pumping 1,000+ each. So thank you guys for you know, sticking with me, watching this thing come through. And for anybody that hasn't joined us yet, please go back, watch some of the transformation, because this truck used to be white when we picked it up. It sat in the field since 2016. It was rough, and it's amazing how far we brought it. But enough of the chit chat. Thank you guys again. Have a great rest of the day.